Hi, welcome again. Today is Wednesday, April 29th, and we are going to be discussing a very interesting topic. We were expecting this discussion because I am sure that we all four have something to share with us. So I welcome you guys, Selena, Adriana, and Yesenia. How are you guys today?
Thank
I'm
you.
good.
I'm good
Quarantine,
too.
but good. How about
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very good.
yeah, thank you. All right. So the topic today is critical incidents. So do you remember, guys, what is a critical incident?
Yeah.
Ariana?
Um, it's an situation that happened in an unplanned class, and you try to figure out how to resolve or how to solve and do the better for your class or for this situation.
Uh-huh. Instead of saying unplanned class, I would say unplanned situation.
Well,
yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
unplanned situation.
It's in a
Yeah.
situation that you don't expect it. And yeah, I believe that we all four, as teachers and active teachers, we have faced those incidents in our classroom. Have
Of course.
you, Selena, have you ever uh, lived or have you ever experienced one of these critical incidents?
Yeah, I have. I've experienced some. I don't have much experience, as you already know. But the ones I have experienced, I believe, are not so delicate. But
Uh-huh.
I've worked with kids, and with kids, I basically had behavior issues. And with adults, I had much less incidents than the ones I had with kids. But I have faced.
All right. What about you, Yesenia? Thank you, Selena.
Um,
I think she went somewhere. What about you?
yeah.
Have you?
Um, Yes. When I was reading these lectures, in one of them mentioned something about religion, and I remember. Well, I remember one situation that happened to me with the first grade, with 6 years old kids, and these were two children, two girls, and one of them was talking a lot about situation, La Virgen María, no sé qué, chalala, chalala, chalala. And the other girl, she mentioned, eso no existe. And the other girl looked at me and told me, ¿verdad que no es cierto? ¿Verdad que, verdad? Así, súper intensa. So, they were to fight about that, and they are 6 years old. So the thing that I did was tell them that everyone believes in different things, and it's not wrong the opinion of one, and it's not bad the other opinion, because at that moment I didn't know what to do or what to say. So it's only the thing that I did. And but I was like, oh my god, they are 6 years old and they start to fight so intense.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. So intense. What about you, Yesenia? Have you experienced a situation like this? Any situation?
Yes, I mainly behavior because my students are children, so that's like the most is incidents that I have, and I would like to talk about it through the discussion, like specific situations. But
Sure.
yes, behavior.
All right. In the readings, they were mentioning something very interesting that to me um, it was interesting, but I have a point. In the readings, they say that most of the teachers, we relate critical incidents to negative experiences instead of positive ones, right? Because we I think we link the situation between critical and a problematic situation. But I have I have a story that I have to tell when I start working here in La Salle with these kids. I was in this classroom with a 5-year-old kids, and they were working, like copying the things from the board, and then two girls they start talking about boyfriends and about babies, and one of them she stood up and she came to me and she's like, teacher, ¿verdad que no se puede tener bebés si no tienes novio? So I was like, I was like, who told you that? She's like, my mom. My mom told me that if I don't have a boyfriend, I can't have babies, right? And the other girl was like, no, no, that's not right. You can have many boyfriends and no babies, or you can have many babies and no boyfriend. I was like,
And who tell you that? You're my mom.
she said like my mom. And the thing here is that the main teacher was there, and she just looked at me like, what is he going to say? So I was like, no, we shouldn't talk about this here. You will find out later when you grow up. And at the end, I mean, I don't think it's a bad experience. I think it was like a good experience because I never thought, these questions. Like, but it was fun. It was fun. So I'm going to start with you, Selena. Selena, do you have any question that you would like to share with us in order?
Well, first of all, I have a comment in which you were talking about right now that we tend to lean on negative incidents. Um, I believe that we do have many negative incidents in class, outside as well, but regarding our teaching. But I believe that even though if they're negative, they tend to go in a positive way in the future by analyzing them and taking what's best of them, right? So it's just something I wanted to comment, and something I do want to say. Well, a question I have for you guys is: have critical incidents helped you in your teaching?
How helped you?
Have critical incidents, have they helped you in your teaching?
In my case, Sally, they have because you get to like reflect what you have to do in that moment. You didn't plan it, but you reflect on it, and then you have this experience. So when it happens again in the future, you will know what to do.
Okay, Marco or Adriana?
I think they have. Any experience that we have lived as teachers, they have always give us like rather a good experience or a bad experience, but at the end of the day, we learn from them. And with the previous experience that we have, with all the recipes that we have lived during the our professional life, um, at some point we take them in consideration when we face those situations again. So when we face those situations, when we are again in that situation, we know what to do now because we already have that experience. So for sure they have.
Okay. Adri?
Um, yeah, it's almost the same. Help you to reflect, not in that moment. I mean, after when you think about it, or when you have a similar situation, you reflect, and now you know how to act about that situation. Something that it was interesting for me in the reading in the copies. The reading says that about the formal reflection, and this is when, I don't know if you remember, that this is when somebody else, another teacher, a colleague, tell you or give you advices about how to act in a specific situation. And that, I think that everyone know a little about this, that you are in your classroom or in your job, and this teacher comes to you and tell you, oh well, my advice is that you don't do this because this student is in this way, or his mom or wherever give you an advice. And I think that helps you a lot too, this formal reflection about these critical incidents.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I believe in, well, an answer for my question is that, yeah, it has helped me, and it helped me a lot with kids. When I was teaching kids, it helped me a lot. I really got a lot from other teachers who had those students, just as you were saying, Adri, that they give you input on this type of classroom and this student, etc.
All right. Adriana, do you have a question for us for the forum, for the audience?
Um, yeah, my question is, why does reflecting on a critical incident encourage students in initial teaching training? How this encourage to the students, the critical incidents?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah. Why does reflecting on a critical incident encourages students in initial teaching training?
Uh,
Yes, 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 yes. Sorry.
yeah.
Okay, it's because I raised my hand to talk because I had my micro off. But I think that as teachers, you get much more knowledge on these critical incidents. You get to reflect, and then you have like this new understandings or beliefs, and you continue like to gather experience in teaching, and that's also my.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think another answer could be that due to these situations, due to this, on reflecting on this critical incidents, teachers can create or can develop like a different perception of what is teaching, and the at the end they will have a better understanding of their job probably.
Yeah. Reflect
Um,
about it.
yeah.
Well, I believe that, yeah, as Yesenia was saying, you do get to reflect on them, you get the knowledge, and most importantly, I think that once you have that reflection is what you do next with that information, and how is it that you apply that information into your future classes, the understanding and everything. So it's like they set you up for future experiences.
Yep, right. That's what I meant. Good. Jasenia, do you have a question for us?
Yes, I want to know about your experiences. How has this critical incidents changed your beliefs as teachers?
Uh,
Marco?
yeah, I guess they changed a lot because we never like in my case when I start teaching, I I first teach and then I went to school like to the BA. So the BA is after my experience. So in the experience, nobody tells you, you're not being told anywhere that you're gonna face these situations. So it was hard for me to sometimes try to figure it out how I was going to solve some issues of behavior. Sometimes I had these situations with gender because it was a male. They were like, I want a teacher, a female teacher, or I didn't know what to do. And now that we are in this class and that we have seen this all sets of issues that can occur, we kind of have like a bigger or wider um, like knowledge of the topic, and this has of course um, it has changed a lot, and it's not an easy job, and it's not something that just because you speak English, you can go and stand up in front of 20 people. Like, it's not like that.
Okay. For me, it has changed in that, for example, in behavioral incidents, when they give you, or they tell you that, for example, in the BA, well, maybe you can try this, or maybe you can try that. And then once I applied it in the classroom. Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And I started to create my own beliefs. And along with the ones we have seen in the BA and all the input they give you, but with critical incidents, I have been able to explore more and have more of my own experience and personal beliefs.
Okay. And do you guys think that all these experiences that we have gone through, like all of us, with rather with behavior, rather with the differences of age, or because of the topic discussion, that some of them do not agree with the topic, like Adriana was mentioning the religion in the readings too. Do you think that these incidents are essential for us to grow professionally?
Of course, I think they are pretty much essential because you will be having lots and lots of experience for when you keep on teaching. They will prepare you for different type of scenarios, and you will little by little know how to handle these situations and not grab you like in a spontaneous moment and you can freak out, panic, and not know what to do. So yeah, I believe they do help you a lot.
All right.
Yeah,
I want to
exactly.
show you guys a video, like it's just 20 seconds. So let's watch a video. You didn't know about this, so it's a surprise for you. So watch the video, please, and tell me what you think. How would you handle? Think about if you were the teacher in that classroom, and share your experience. Well, I will ask you. So take a look, please. Can you see my
Okay.
screen?
Yeah.
Okay, pay attention, please.
Okay, so when we're treating different mental disorders, there are four main theories that we're
So
going to
you
cover.
can choose like until you'll be here.
That doesn't say every words.
Yes.
Hey guys, if you want to talk, you can do it outside.
Oh, no problem, Professor. Don't worry, it's cool.
So that's the cognitive behavioral technique. This is going to use many.
So, what do you think about the? First of all, what kind of problem or critical incident we face here? Is this gender?
No, behavior.
Behavior.
It's,
Yes, I think it's behavior.
and it's a common critical incident in all classroom.
Okay, I have one question for you. The teacher, what do you think the teacher's reaction was like the best reaction that we expect? Because they were not children and they were not young, like teenagers. They were like in a master's degree or something. No? So what do you think about the teacher's behavior? Was she
I think that the teacher is mad for the same reason because they are adults, young adults, and it's like, how can you be doing this in a class if you are adults and you know how to behave? I
okay?
think
Or
that's the reason why the teacher acting in that way.
maybe by just stop talking, you as teacher, that's what I would have done. If I see my students talking, interrupting the class, I wouldn't say like, hey, if you don't like it, go outside. Because that's like
No.
traditional teacher, no? I would just like be quiet and just look at them and just keep looking until they notice that I'm not talking because of them. And I wouldn't say anything. In that way, they will realize that they are doing something wrong. But that's the teachers. What if you were the teacher? What
Well, everything depending of the context.
Marco, uh, in my case, what I do with children, and like if your case that you said that maybe just look at them, I think that works pretty good when they're young adults. With children, what I do, like I'm never in the front of the classroom. I'm always walking around. I just touch them like on their shoulders so they can know that I'm there seeing them and that um, they have to notice something's going on in the classroom and they have to be like they have to do better on their behavior. So I just touch them like a little bit on the shoulder and they get to notice it and they get ready for the class.
right?
Yeah, everything depending on the context. I mean, well, in my case, the same with children. Maybe I say it aloud in general that please remember that you have to work in silence, etc., etc., etc. But in general idea, for everyone, but the people who are talking, they understand that is for them.
Yeah, or maybe when you volume your tone of voice when they're talking, rather you go like okay, so, or like okay, so they wake up. So when you modulate the tone of voice, also works. Selena, you have something
Yeah.
to say?
Also, I've been teaching adults now, so when I had that problem, I basically detect who's the one that's talking, and I ask them to participate. Like, okay, what did I say right now, or can you answer this question, or something like just to put them in the move, and so that everyone could be like, oh, she's going to start asking us, so they remain silent instead of telling them, okay, can you please lower your voice or keep in silence or something. I just do that so that they can be a bit more engaged with the class.
The class. All right, good. Thank you. Thank you for your participation and for discussing this video that you didn't know. So I took it as something extra. Yesenia, another question that you have for us?
Yes. Do you think that reflecting on these critical incidents, are they beneficial? Do they really benefit you in your teaching? It's related to the questions that we've discussed, but now like a little bit more focused on how beneficial they are in the future.
Yeah.
Selena, would you like to answer?
Yeah, sorry, I was in silence noise. Um, Well, yeah, I believe that as we have been saying that these experiences would help me a lot to know different type of scenarios and for me like not know what to do and reflect it to my students because I believe that if we look insecure or we don't know what to do, then our students can be like, oh, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't like give you enough respect. So maybe if you already know what to do, they would be like, oh, she's in control of the class, she knows what to do and everything. So
Right.
I believe they would help me for that scenario.
Okay, good. Thank
Yeah.
you. Um,
Mhm.
Adria, do you have another question for us?
Uh, no, I think already
Good.
question. Yeah, I
What
think.
about you, Selena? Do you have another question for us? Sally?
Sorry, there is a bit of noise, so I'm going to ask my question. If you hear a little noise, sorry. So from these critical incidents or the ones you have had, what can you take from those critical incidents? What do you use from those critical incidents? What is important from those? What do you take out of them?
I guess, in my opinion, what I have taken from these experiences is that we should always think ahead. You know, when any situation happens, we shouldn't go and rush for the most drastic answer or way to solve the issue. Especially working with kids. You know, I'm talking about with kids. Working with kids is the most difficult. I guess is one of the most difficult jobs exist. Not because of the fact that we are teachers, if not because we're dealing not only with them, if not with parents. We all know this. I think Yesenia and Adriana know this because we are working with kids. So working with one kid who is constantly having misbehavior in the class, and when you get to know the parents, you understand why the kid is like that, right? So I think I have take that I don't know, that we should always try to do our best to solve the problems in a pensa con cabeza fría, as we say, and never
Yeah.
just like go direct to the issue. But sometimes they need it. Sometimes when the issue is something drastic, yeah, they need to be stopped somehow, but not always. Adriana, do you have something to say to share?
Yeah, well, this critical incidents helps you to even face your fears because maybe it happens often to you that te quedas traumado with this situation. And then when you have a similar situation, I mean, you have to face, but yeah, you know now how to face the situation, or what can do, or what you can do, etc. I mean, even if this critical incident is horrible or traumatic, you can learn about it. No.
All
I
right.
mean, yeah,
I believe.
Marco mentioned working with kids is so difficult, and the parent situation is the most difficult part of this job.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, not only with kids. Once I was working with um, people from what, from 20 to 30, and they have this guy who was like 34 something, and he was like a mess. He was telling me like, oh, I don't like you, you're not a good teacher, or why are you bringing the speaker, why are you doing this, why are you... He was like bitching the whole class until, in that time, in back in 2016, I think the phrase son mis quince was very famous. So I told him, oh, you know why I'm doing this? Because son mis quince. I was tell until like he got to the point where he never came back to the classroom. And believe me, that me as teacher and the classmates, like all its students, they were happy that this guy never came back again, because he was like a pain in the ass. So we all share. I think we all four agree that when a critical incident happens in our classroom, we are thinking in our head, no? Like, why did it happen? What I did wrong? How should I solve this problem? And I don't know. After a while, after you analyze these issues, you start thinking again, like, what could I have done differently to improve in that moment? But meanwhile, you already have the experience. You already live that, and for future classes, for future references, you already know what to do. Do you agree with this conclusion?
Yeah, perfectly. I believe that with
Yes, I
coincidence we grow. So that's the important thing, to analyze, reflect, and take the best out of them so that we can learn what to do for the future.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Adriana, Jesse?
No.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the session today. It was very, very interesting and nice talking to you guys. Keep safe, and I'll see you back next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.